Hello, welcome to Mostyle TV. My name is Kai Tennemann, aka Mo Tensen, and I am a designer and director from Germany. And today it's a premiere because I have this video blog since 1 year or so and always do it in German. Yeah, but a few weeks ago I holding some lectures at Hyper Island in Sweden, and it's my first time I have to speak in English. And because I promise the students there I make this lesson. No, it's not real lesson. It's this making of later. I have to do it in English too, yeah. And because Vimeo was so kind putting my Mercedes Smart piece on the HD channel on Vimeo, I getting much attention, and so I think it's maybe interesting for more people than just Germans to watching how I made it. So, and yes, that's it. Yeah, Mercedes Smart was a very nice project. Last year, short before Christmas, the very nice guys from Feed Me. It's a German design and movie production company from Cologne. Give me a call, and the project is doing an installation video for an event where the new Mercedes Smart Brabus is presented by Mercedes, yeah, in China, I think, or Taiwan, I don't know exactly, in Asia, of course. Okay, and so that's a making of now, yeah. And at the first, I like to speak about the creative things I did, and after this, I of course show some technical behind the scenes, yeah. Because I get many questions from Vimeo and my own blog, who people ask how I did it. And at first I can say it's very simple. Yeah, the whole movie is just basic Cinema 4D MoGraph module using, and just a few ideas. And yeah, it's very simple. I swear. And after I have you show all of this, you will say, yes, this is easy. I can do it too. Yeah. But I do it first. And maybe a bit background. I'm starting 10 years ago as freelancing 3D operator, and it's nice because this is my roots, and I very love the crafting thing of the CG side, and yeah, that's yeah, because of this I'm very familiar with Cinema 4D. I'm one of the first users of this in Germany because I'm in contact with Maxon years ago, writing our own column in her Maxon published Atari magazine about the so-called demo scene. Yeah, as well, kind of scene comes out of the before cracking and hacking scene, and we did stuff on old home computers like Atari and Amiga, and Maxon in this time publishing our own Amiga and Atari magazine. And in this Atari magazine I have our own column, and one day Maxon asked me if I can helping translating, no, not translating, she converting Cinema 4D for Amiga to PC and Mac, and need someone who is familiar with pixel graphic and converting the 2-color Amiga icons to 16-color PC and Macintosh icons. And yes, this was my first commercial job, and after this Maxon said, hey, nice, do you like a copy of Cinema 40? And I say, yes, buy a PC, and that's yeah, that's the thing. I start with Cinema 40. It's long time ago, but yeah, it's nice because I'm always developing my skills while the cinema is developing more and more to this awesome package nowadays. Yeah. And since MoGraph module arrives, I think it was around 2006 or so. Yeah, I just using this every job because it saves me always so much time and makes 3D things just fun. Okay, enough words. Now to Mercedes Smart. Let's see what behind it. Yeah. Okay. The task was 1 minute movie, and it's for background of a live performance. Be a very famous Taiwan rap star called Video. Besides this, they give me some normal press photos from the Smart Bravos here, and I very like this style because Smart is always more for younger people and bring a more colorful and happy lifestyle, and this one looks very slick. I like it. So I think, yeah, that could be a nice job. And okay, when I entered this, FeedMe talked with the client before, and they starting with some ideas, and the basic idea is to take this Smart Bravo circle shape logo and starting something coming out of this, some things, and building a world, and together with the music from Stanley Huang. Yeah, it's a word of sound and something. Yeah, so I write it down in English so you can read it. Okay, so we have this word of sound, and have to feel urban and grungy looking, and yeah, and then maybe comes a part who builds abstract patterns, and we go further and further in this world, and ending up again with something building a sculpture of speakers or something. It's all about sound, yeah, and ending up with the logo again, yeah. So this was a very raw concept, and yes, this is a moment I came in. And my first talk is Thor. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, I have to say, I didn't do English videos or something before because I'm not very familiar with English. Yeah, I was raised in East Germany and didn't have English in the school. Just learning a bit English when I playing adventure games on my first 8-bit Atari 800 computer, yeah? Like look east and put this thing to another thing or something. Okay, so you have to excuse me when I break sometimes speaking because I lost words. Okay, so my first task is urban. What can I do? We see. And one thing I dealing the last time with is some kind of fish lands I love because you have very strange pictures, yeah. And I did a first test, so like this, and show this to FeedMe and think, hey, maybe we can do something with this. I like this strange thing, yeah, because it's just a normal world, and the fish lands can make it to a morphing thing, and I like it. And okay, this was the first thing, and okay, then I start with some styles, yeah. What can I do with the circle thing, yeah? And the first come in my mind is structure where the little car, the smart car, is in the center, and something is building around. and I don't know why, but I like the idea. The smart car is just a little piece out of a very big, strange construction. Yeah. So I did some style frames, but at this time we asking the client to if we can have a full detailed smart Bravos 3D model, but just getting some light 3D model from the model before. I think this is called Smart for 2 or something. Yeah. So for my style frames I use this not Smart Bravos 3D model, and yeah, doing stuff like this is very first steps. You see, trying different colors on something, and yeah, this is very looking very typical motion design stuff because of this stamps and a bit grunge things, and I'm testing, and of course I do animated test always when I testing style frames. Like this. Oh yeah, this is the first test. What's happened? Maybe the smart coming out of some light in the circle shape thing and coming out, yeah. And so I'm doing my first raw brainstorming test and think, yeah, that's maybe a nice idea for some kind of intro. And okay, it's cool. Can use it maybe, and I try some different lighting, some different shading, some styles, and yeah, I like the idea and saying, okay, this could work. And the next thing I did is okay, we have some idea about an intro, yeah, the smart appears, and what's happened next in the world, yeah, we have to now we have to open a world of sound affecting things or something, and okay, the first thing I test is just putting the smoke graph sound effector on meshes. So if you're interested in how this works, I make a complete tutorial. It's here on my blog on Vimeo too. So I get now in detail how it works using the sound effector in Cinema 4D. But you can watch this old tutorial for me. I think it's Motutorial 4, yeah. And there's all I know about using sound things in Cinema 4D in it. So, and the first step is this. I just take some low poly looking shapes, use the same lighters as in the intro, and this is my first test, just to become a feeling how it looks, what can I do with a sound effector. Yeah, for example, this shape on the right side is just rotating to the sound, this on the left side is deforming on the sounds again, and yeah, and a side effect is of I very love this low polygon look and like to keep it, yeah, because it's a bit of accident, yeah. I used the same light source from behind and giving a very dark shading, and yeah, in this test I add a low polygon looking ground too. Okay, and yeah, the accident of this is I very love the look of this, yeah, because we have just this one light source in the background, and it makes very nice reflections on the low polygon shapes. I like it, and so I think, hey, that's maybe a style I can play with, I can go further, and yeah. Okay, why this? Feed me talks to the client and give him the first test with the intro and ask him what they think, and it's okay. but he didn't like the car in, yeah, because we haven't the right model, and it's maybe no good idea to put a false model in this movie. So we decide to left it, and sent me the style frames from intern artists, and yeah, just changing the car to some car parts like the wheel and oh, I don't know an English word for this things. Okay, but the funny thing is, I searched in my model library and didn't find some proper wheel part, so I choose to, yeah, it's automated. Okay, I choose a speaker instead, yeah. So, and that is what we have now. And after the test with the very dark and backlighted stuff, I think it's maybe the look the whole movie can have, and changing this intro to making dark shadings on the objects and this backlight. And okay, next step is, okay, so now the intro and the basic look is very clear. So what's about the city thing and so on. And yeah, now I create some basic environment, yeah. And what I like from this intro is the wings have this very low polygon look, and I like to keep it and bring it to the urban environment too. And the look, of course, too. So there are not so much questions open. This is with what I come up with. So, and the funny thing is, of course, the ground is just this cinema built-in landscape object, and then I like to have some city shapes. And this is interesting because the fastest way I know to build this city thing was not in cinema, because you can put some very fast stuff together with MoGraph, but in this case I remember sawing one city generation script for Blender, yeah, and it's funny because I didn't know anything about Blender, but think give it a try and start Blender. I can show you. It's funny because I downloaded it. It's cool. Blender is for free. It's a very complex 3D package too, but I have no clue how I handle this thing. Yeah, I just do some. One step. Moment. Desktop, Blender. I found this city generator script in the internet, and okay, yeah, this is, yeah, great. Okay, so and this is what I get. Yeah, no idea how it works, but I'm trying something and find this text run Python script. Zack, yeah, and now you become this GUI, and I just hit create city, and Blender create a well-looking city. Yeah, and this one, and as you can see, I have no clue how I navigate in this software. The only next thing I find is the export button. Yeah. So, and after I clicking some shapes, some different city shapes together and find some I like, I just export it. Yeah, and it's funny. Okay, yeah, I exported as FBX and Lightwave and something, And yeah, and that is my city background. Yeah, it's funny. So, and some guys asking how I can do all the things so fast. It's because the second thing, the whole stuff here is from an old project. Yeah, okay, it's not much, it's just very easy buildings out of cubes and this cranes. It's a very old project from 2004, but like I said before, when I saw the original music video, I think, hey, you have 3D models in this kind of style, so maybe use it for this. Yeah, and this is my first test, and I like it. I think, yeah, that could be the way. Yeah, and like you see here is still everything I have later in the movie in. So from this point, it's just trying and developing. And one interesting thing is, oh, this is the next step. Sorry, this is the first step, yeah, and pause. Didn't work. So I have this city, and after this, in compositing, I just mirroring it to in the horizontal blah. I just mirror it. Okay. So and I very like the idea about this mirroring thing, because it's very it looks more interesting as the original build, and yeah, I liked it. And in some cases, when, for example, this, you become very strange forms, and I think, yeah, it's maybe a way to make an interesting movie. Okay, so next step. Oh, this is a side test, because this time it was not clear how the movie will what direction it takes, and I did some fast test. Maybe we can put this smart car in some interesting shots too, and this is just a test, isn't in the movie later, because after this the client decide we haven't to show the car in the whole movie, yeah, because we haven't the right 3D model, and it's very short time. You can't do a proper looking CG car in this time, and so we the client choose not having the car in. So that just a test I did. So okay, after all of this, I'm testing around and trying something. I made the first official style frames, yeah, from the intro again, from the word I like, yeah, another style frame from the word, and the addition here is the thin city shapes just out of outlines, and here's again the mirroring idea in, and this is a mirror idea, yeah. No, it's just one mirror, but on a different X, yeah. So I maybe like the idea. It feels like a cave or something, yeah. It's maybe interesting, and what I like is you're watching this part in the middle. Can I show it with the mouse? No. When you look at the shape in the middle of the screen, it's very similar to a waveform, yeah. When you're looking a sound file in sound software and music software, you have this sample waveforms, and the middle part is very similar looking to this, and I like the idea behind this. Yeah, and this is yeah, some different approaches. Not so abstract city is with more detailed buildings, and this is interesting because it's just a negative part of this before. Again, the skyline mirrored to the ground feels a bit like a sampling form, yeah. And I like the idea behind it because yeah, we have to show a word of sound, and I think, hey, it's maybe a way we can do. And again, this buildings, it's very easy buildings, just low polygon with textures for the windows. It's again from an older project, yeah. So, and I do it because when I have to make style frames in just one day or something, of course I use everything I have of older projects or something to give myself a very fast vision how an idea works. Yeah, I can put just cubes in, but it's not the same. And so it's always good to have some older projects, taking stuff from them, putting to new stuff together, and have a very, very fast way to bring your vision to life. Yeah, and that's the style frames. This is a very closer look, because at this time the idea was, after all the abstract shaped things, we may be ending up in a city, and in the city we again come to a place who is more circular shaped, and this builds the logo at the end or something. Yeah. Okay. After the style frames, I do some animation tests with the style frames too, and the feedback from FeedMe was she liked the look at all, but didn't like the ground so much because it looks too raw, yeah, like on the moon or something. So she asked if I can keep it a bit more clean. Yeah, and yeah, this is an animated test of the mirror idea. Yeah, and here is again, I discovered that the shapes of the city is always looking a bit like sample waves, and I like this very much. And yeah, the cave idea in movement. It's interesting too, I think. Also, okay, it's not in the final movie because Susan, I have to say, I am always talking with the creative director from FeedMe, of course. It's called in German Susanne Lüchtracht, and it was like ping pong. Yeah, I'm always sending her my first ideas, and we're talking about it. It's very, very cool way, and yeah, so I was working with this feedback, and yeah, so the client feedback was okay, but it's okay, it's cool for him, but we miss a bit this original urban grunge idea, because this now is very slick, yeah, and yeah, I have to put it in, and the next thing is I have to integrate parts from the original music video, and of course there's the idea to just blending it together with the CG stuff, but I didn't like the idea so much. And oh yeah, from my intro sculpture, this thing I very like. The client didn't like the wings. Yeah, it looks a bit too scary. And okay, so I cut the wings out of this, and we ending up with just this without wings. Yeah, and okay, I see. Yeah, but what I like at the wings is because this movie format is very small. I like that the wings filling the whole movie, yeah. And now it's very empty, so I decide to just play more with the circle shapes, and ending up with this.
This is a journey into sound.
Yeah, and it's cool for me because it's still the circle thing. It's not so empty, looks more interesting. And yes, you know, this is the intro we keep for the final movie. Okay, so after this we have the style frame approved. I have a raw idea how everything has to look, and intro is near finished, and now we can start with real production, this stuff, yeah. And yeah, my first thing is, okay, I have this intro, I have the urban style thing, and now I need a transition between this, yeah. And I'm always thinking about some kind of tunnel, something. And but the first thing I try is this. Okay, this is a moment I didn't know the word. In German it's called Rutsche. I have to look later how it's spelled. Okay, I need this transition, and the first raw thing I come out with is this some Vimeo watcher called it wipeout effect, yeah, and I like the idea because yeah, it's a bit wipeout inspired at the end, and what I like is I like to keep this open world thing, yeah, because yeah, it's a better transition to the full open world. So I choose no closed tunnel, but what I like is this reflection stuff on the tunnel, yeah, because I have this lightning elements and like the patterns what built just out from the mirroring, yeah, and okay, so but at all it looks very clean now, yeah, and not grungy. So I decide to give the walls of this highway some sound affection things too. Looks like this. Yeah. But this is a bit too much, yeah. And like you can see I put some of this first sound FX elements just randomly in it. And okay, this is a bit too much, so I calm it down, and we end up with this, yeah. And because I always like, of course, this dynamic stuff. Watch it. Okay, I put some strange low poly things falling down and crashing. It's very easy to do in cinema, but I think this is very known out there. Okay, so I adding some stuff, finding the final style, and choose when this door is open at the end of this not tunnel. We are in the world, but at the first part it's more clean than the later part, and yeah, and yes, my idea is because this movie is 1 minute long, and it's very complicated to make a real one shot over a minute when you have no clear vision what the film will, what the movie will going on, yeah. Because of this short time, I have everything built at the same time. Yeah? Normally, you make at first animatics and developing the whole movie in animatic style and become a very clear vision what the movie it's all about. But in this time it's much more try and error. Yeah, I try this wipeout thing and think, yeah, it works. Okay, so put it in, but I have no clue what come after this at this moment. So okay, after this we are in a very clean world, and I think, okay, you have this this Haber staff word too. So now you need a transition between these two words, but I not have the time to make a very long cam ride through the whole movie, because when you change something, it changed everything on the movie in the worst case. And so I decide to use this little trick. Like you see in this, I just using abstract objects like some kind of Stargate or something that brings us in another world, like this. Whoop. So it's maybe a way, and again, because there's just a clean low poly blender city. I very like this waveform style again, and think it's a good idea. We have very clean beginning in the world, just seeing these waveforms, and now it's time to show the more full of stuff world. And this is the next thing.
This is a journey into sound.
After the transition to this simple gate, I just putting my first test behind it. So at this time the abstract object is changed to abstract smart, because the client liked the little ones in this part. I film this world with more stuff, and this is a very abstract thing, brings to the last part, And at the last part I think it's maybe cool. We are in this. We are in this closer look city. It's again a bit different approach of this whole idea, and like you see, that's all. It's very easy. It's no special magic behind. It's just this little intro. It's developed further. Then this transition is made very fast. I just have 2 days left at the end because we like to present the whole movie to the client at Monday, and I starting with all this stuff Friday, and so I developed this transition and the last word in on this weekend too, when I finished the style frame shots that was done before, and just integrated some elements like this arrows and stuff. And I forgot something. You remember the client asked about more grunge, and it's because and now you see there are some stuff on all the buildings. At first the buildings and the crayons was very clean, and now I adding just this greeble like stuff. I show you later how it works in cinema. And again, my way to integrate the music video parts is just to put this big billboards in the world. It's a very simple idea, but I think it works and looks interesting, and that's all. For me, that's it's a working movie now. I like the idea with this strange object bring us. There's no finished transition at the moment, but I like the idea entering this very strange pyramid and coming to this new world. And because this is very clean, I just added this little dots, and these dots are just light source. Cinema visible light source. You can switch off lightning and just becoming this transparent dots, and I put it on the whole world. Just 3 clicks in Cinema 4D with MoGraph, and it's just to make it a bit more friendly and more interesting, because it's just this dark buildings. And And because at the end is the moment when my video ends, the real smart appears on the stage, and so I decide just coming to the smart at the end and hope in this moment he comes out from the back of the stage, and it's maybe a nice transition to the real world. So okay, the last thing the client choose is please don't use this abstract gate object. So I change it. You see it in the first part when we come out of the clean world to the more urban world. I just change it between this abstract smart, and on the second part I just running in a hill, so it works. And okay, the last wish is, and it's a bit funny because at the first at the start of the project we decide to have no car in it, but I think okay, we can do this very dark abstract cars. Yeah, it's just the idea of cars, and the Asian client asked about integrating a real looking car in it, and of course it was very late on this project, and so I just have time to put in the last shot some smart cars. Yeah, and it's of course a bit in German we say mit der heißen Nadel gestrickt. I just have a few hours to try out how I can bring how I can bring a near real looking car into it. Yeah, but it's a bit hard because the original idea is a complete abstract world. So, but it works. And the version you see on Vimeo is my director's cut with the abstract ones. So, and it's all for now. This is a creating part, and now I like to show you some cinema inside stuff. Yeah. Hope you're still awake. Okay. I take a little break, and after this, starting with cinema and show you how that works out. Thank you so far. Hey, it's me again, now in Cinema 40. Yeah, like you can see, I import the Blender city thing. Yeah, it looks like this. That's all I need. And you see, looks a bit wrong. Yeah, it's interesting because, and this was a question the students from Hyper Island asked. It's because of the phong tag. Yeah, phong is just a trick, a fake. Yeah, I show you one example. Phong is just a trick from the old times where computers are very slow, and your scenes can have very complex objects. Yeah, for example, this cylinder. No caps, please. Yeah, you see, it's just consists of 8 polygons, and the phong tag doing some fake stuff. When we render it, you see, it looks round. Yeah, and that's because the phong text does this thing. He shows this plane and this plane, and I give him information when this plane and this plane have a specific angle, please fake it looks like a round. So you get an idea what I mean? Okay, and this is interesting because it's always important when you like to make low polygon looking stuff. You have to yeah, you can delete this phong tag, it's no problem, or you give in a very low angle, yeah, like 10 or something. So, and now our 8-sided cylinder looks right, yeah. And it's interesting because yeah, this is very important, and it's maybe good to know how phong tag works. And but you can delete this complete, and now you go sure that every object looks very raw polygon. Yeah, okay. So I have to do the same with my imported Blender city. Oh, not deleting the whole thing. So, and now I have the city. So, and the students at the Hyper Island don't believe the whole look I create for this movie. It's so easy. And some people ask how I achieve it, and it's very simple and a bit of accident, because you remember I come out of the whole look because of this background light, yeah, and this light was a volumetric light, and we tried out. So I take this volumetric light in the background and do it on the sky, but I choose oh, and we give him the scene a ground, yeah, and I choose make this light not volumetric, just visible. Now we can test how it looks. Okay, nice, but not nice enough. So, and the next thing is I like this dark stuff, so I give him dark color, and for of course reflection, yeah, and reflection in combination with this Fresnel, zack, is all I did, yeah. Not 100% because 100% reflection didn't exist in the nature, so it's always a nicer idea to lower the amount of reflection a bit. Okay, and just giving this to my city, to my floor, and looking what like. Okay, and the fun thing is because my objects have to be dark, I can switch off the color complete. It's just a reflection, and because there is no color channel, I can switch off the light illumination. No illumination. Zack. Yeah. And now everything is just about reflection. You see this? Here. That's all. That's the whole style of the work. So what I did is compressing the light source a bit and scaling it, and ta-da! That's all. Yeah. And the fun thing is, when I copy this city twice, so bring the light there. The fun thing is because the visible light source is in the city, like this. Moment. Oh, because switch off the light, I have to switch off the default light too, yeah, because when we didn't have any light in the scene, cinema has this default light, yeah, it's just a light source in the position of the virtual camera, yeah. So now that's the right thing. Like you can see, it's very easy, because every low poly city object reflecting this light source, also not light spanning source, is just a white cloud at the sky, yeah. And the fun thing, the side effect is having this atmosphere thing, because the far parts of the city stuck in the light, yeah. So I make it a bit bigger, like this. So, and this is the whole fake behind the whole movie. Yeah, that's the look. You can see I did nothing else. I handling some deep channels to achieve this atmospheric look or something. That's all. It's funny because it's so easy, but I like it. Yeah, I very like it. And yeah, what now? So that's is a whole lightning trick, and because it's so easy, you see it. It's rendered very fast. Yeah, and for example, this looks like a very complex thing, but it's very easy. It's just a slow polygon city, and this one light source, no real lightning, just reflection, and because of this, you can lower the reflections too. It's very fast rendering, yeah, and because I have to do this movie in HD, at the end I just have 1 minute or so for a frame, and it's of course great because it was a great time saver. You remember I have to do this whole movie in just a bit over a week, and it's cool, but yeah. 1 minute means 16 frames. Zack, it's 1,500 frames to render, and yeah, it needs time too. Yeah, so I have just 1 or 2 minutes at one frame final render time, but because of this very much frames, I need at the end 2 days or something just to render it out in HD. So, but this is the whole yeah, that's all the optical tricks behind it. And now I like to show you some things I did in the final scenes. Production, yeah, the whole movie just consists of 4 shots. At first we have this intro. Yeah, and it's very easy. For the moment I delete some stuff. So we have just this thing in the middle, yeah. It's consists of very simple tubes and something, and very raw modeled stuff, and just the speaker is a bit more detailed, and this is in a symmetry object. Zack, when I put it off, I just have this. Okay, this is on the right side, should be on the left side too. Objects, and giving the sound effector to this whole bunch, and switch the sound effector to object. And this is a nice thing with the MoGAT stuff, yeah. All the effectors, not just working with MoGraph clones, all the effectors working with all objects. When you put the effector in a group of objects and switching them to please deform objects or points or polygons, it works too, and it's great. And that's you can look at. Why we have no sound? This. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's all. Yeah, it's just a bunch of little objects with some random effector and the sound effector, so everything is bumping to the music, and the whole thing is deformed and scaled, coming from behind, scaling up, everything popping up. It's just a few keyframes, and yes, that's all. I show you maybe that's the same. Yes, please. So killing the drone now and just having the rings and the circle things are just normal tubes, yeah, in cloned, and just animated a few things there, and you have this funny animation. Yeah, it's very easy. You know, you can change things like this. Ooh. And becoming interesting animation just with a cloner object and some tubes. Yeah, and at the end putting in this construction the sound effect too, and he makes everything bumping to the music. That's the intro. It's no much more in. At the end I choose, when we have this transition to the rest of the world, I like the idea that everything explodes, but not physical, more abstract, and put this polygon fx object with a sound effect or two in it, and just rise the, how's the word? Rise the, you know what I mean, yeah? So, and it makes everything crashing, and at the same time I fly with the cam through this and have a fakey transition to the next shot. So that's all for this. So the next shot is the highway. Boom. It's very simple too. So, but a bit performance taking, I switch off this. What you can see is highway is very simple, built out of 2 splines and switches in a different scene to show it to you. It's just this, no more. How it's called, sweep knobs. Yeah, it's just sweep knobs means one profile spline and one spline for the way. Yeah, and together it's this. So very easy, and we build from ground in the scene. So then again this structure is cloned with MoGraph. Zack, you know. It's very simple. The nice thing is, because this structure things are automatical with MoGraph laid on the original, I call it now way, you understand what it is. And the nice thing is, now I can every time take the original spline and change it, and all these construction things are still in here. It's nice because you can make some little changes in your scene when you like more action or less, I don't know. And it's a very flexible construction, reacts on changes, and it's very easy in MoGraph. Yeah, okay, putting some other stuff, and at least giving this pipeline thing again a sound effect too, and putting this little crashed objects. Maybe I can show you how it works. It's very easy. You just take a pyramid, for example, a ground plane, so the pyramid has something to crash, and then give this MoGraph rich body, zack, selecting the pyramid or any object you have, and then I use thrausi. It's a very cool plugin. How much pieces? I choose 20 for now, anyway, and and say please randomize. Oh, sorry. Break it. Ding, 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 ding. You can see he calculates all these little pieces and is so kind and build. Oh, and again, it's interesting. You see this thing I speak before? This phong tag, yeah? You have to select all the phong tags and setting it to a low amount. Voila. Okay, and now thrausi is so nice to set up this as MoGraph thing, ready build with dynamic tag, and you just have to fall it on the ground, very easy. And I put some objects in the scene because, yeah, to make a bit more action as just the right. Okay, is there more in? Yeah, and on the horizon I just put some of the Blender City things to have some sound reacting stuff. Some more in, yeah, and that's all. It's very simple. Maybe one interesting hint for this Blender City thing. Yeah, I just have original this one city. You know, it's my original model, and this is reacting to the sound. And the rest of them are just instances. Yeah, means show you how it works. I choose this, go to instance, create a new instance, and I can give it to another place. Yeah, it's just a copy of the original. But the nice thing is, since I think Cinema 11 or something, you can switch this render instance button on, and that means the instance is referred to the original polygon object, and Cinema hasn't no copy of this object in the RAM, in the RAM, yeah, it's the right word, yeah. So you can make thousands, millions copy of this object and renders on your 1 gigabyte MacBook, yeah, it still works. Didn't need much resources, and the cool thing is, because I copy this zero object, he copy all the stuff is in, and in the zero object is my city with the sound effector. Yeah, means the deformed city is copied to a new instance, and I did it for the whole world. Yeah, and it's just to building a bit stuff on the horizon and something. Yeah, so the last step is it's very interesting too, because you remember there are some just objects just looking like outlines of objects. Yeah, this is just this so-called atom array. I'll show you how it works. It's very easy too. This is my original Blender city. Then I choose this atom array, making a copy with instance and giving it to the atom array. So, and now, yeah, you can see, switch it off because the atom array is a bit slow. You can see this copy is just because of the atom array, the outlines. Bing! That's all. So now you have 3D outlines rendered for you of any 3D model, and it's very interesting because it looks interesting too, and I use it for the ground, because when I just make the ground low polygon looking, I like to to make it more clear. So I have this little lines between the polygons, and I use this atom array for this. Yeah, but maybe interesting. I use not the original atom array. I have a special custom-made version, because the original atom array, I can show you this, it's a little problem. It's a bug. Yeah, when you, for example, having this thing, yeah, consists of 8-sided things, and I like to choose just 4 sides. Yeah, the atom array has a built-in phong algorithm, and that means when I choose just 3 sides, the built-in phong tag, it's not visible because it's an algorithm. Just have the default the default amount. It's 80 or so. Yeah. So you can't use atom array when you like to have it looking low polygon. It's a little bug, and the funny thing is, when you get the Cinema SDK, means for people who wrote on plugins and something for Cinema, an example file in this SDK is this atom array, and it's nice because the brother from Manuel at Exponsa take this example source file and making me a special version from this atom array, and this version has right phong. So just a little thing. Okay, so, and that's all. That's a city. Now we have the same buildings as outlines, and of course to reacting to the original city, to the sound, but you see it's very imperformant. So when I'm working on this scene, I have always switching this off. Now I can manipulate and navigate through the scene, and when I switch it on, everything is very slow. So when everything is animated and something, then you switch this on. Yeah, and that's all the magic behind my urban city stuff. So the original urban scene is yeah, it's the same stuff, but some objects in it too, and it's very simple. I save again some moment. Close, zack, not this, steps, choose this, and I switch this off for you because you know it's slow. On the ground it's the same. The last thing, the grunge look, yeah, I have to explain. Okay, grunge look is very easy, basically. Okay, I kill everything I didn't need right now. Blah, 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 blah. It's a whole Haber, landscape, bye-bye landscape, lightning. So now we have just the cam and the Haber. So, and this is my original Haber. Looks like this, you know, very low polygon stuff, and this dirty sheep trick I used is something like, I show you it, I copy the whole Haber, tack, tack, and giving to the whole Haber this polygon fx object. And this polygon fx object has a random effector in it, and that means, and now I switch the original Haber off, the whole Haber without this Moment. Very slow. Okay, it's a bit slow. Moment. I wonder. Switch this off. Switch this off. Yes, this is what I need. So I extract just a few buildings so I can show you it faster. Okay, so this is my original Haber. Yeah, very simple buildings, you know. And I just put this polygon FX object for the whole scene and giving some random effector, and that means the whole scene, every object splitted the single polygons and just shifted a bit in comparison to his original place. So it means you have this building and the polygons doing this, yeah, and then I just put this texture with an alpha channel on this result. Da, tack, 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 tack. Two. So, and that is the grunge. Oh yeah, cool. Background. So now you can watch it. And that's all. Yeah. And the original city is still in. Oh. And that means you have on all the original buildings just this little greeble staff and something, and looks not so clean as before. And it's a very fast, very easy way to make it a bit more grungy. And at least I kill this. It just has the original. Someone asked about the camera movement. I hope I'm not deleted. Yeah, it's still in, and you can see it's again very simple too. It's just one spline. Yeah. Moment. I show you. This is a way. What's the camera doing? That is strange. Moment. Maybe I delete too much things. Target. Kill this. And now it looks right, I think. Yes, that is good. So it's a very wide angle camera because yeah, because then you have very the right look of the city. Yeah, it's always feel very big. Okay, and the camera is very simple setup. You can show it from above. This camera is on the spline and watching on a target, and the target is on the same spline too, but a few frames before. Means when the camera starts with position 8%, the target can see, here's an object from the camera, the target starts with 20. It means it's in front of the camera, yeah, and that's what I need. Here, we're always looking on the target, yeah, and it's cool because very simple. Yeah, it's cool because it's a fast way to fly through the whole buildings. And the only thing is the camera is not on flying on this rail. It's just a zero object is flying on the rail, and this gives me the freedom to animate the camera because it's a child of the zero object, yeah. And I use this for some banking and so on, and because the zero object follows the target, it's very nailed on the target, and this is not a good idea for the camera itself, because it looks very restricted when we have this target always in the center of the screen. So it's a good idea to have the cam as child of this, and you have more freedom to give him a bit different movement and bring just the right feel you need. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean. So it's very smooth fly through the city, and that's the way I animate a camera. It's very easy too, yeah. And the way is I build a world. The workflow way is I build just the part of the world. We can reload it. Moment. This just build the world, doing a first raw camera moving through the world like this. This is the world from above. You see. And when I have the camera flies through these two complex Haber stuff cities, and the one of course is just an instance copy of the others, of the first one, and so when I have this fly through the city, it's clear where the camera is looking through, and on the parts when I think it's a bit empty or something, I just have to put some stuff in, like the background cityscapes things and something, and that's a way I kill this grunge. It's a bit faster for us to see, and that's the way I built the whole scene. Yeah, it's nice because now I have control over the whole animation, and always see, okay, at the start looking right or not. Yeah, it looks cool. So. And I come to this, I have to put, for example, in the first version it feels very empty on the horizon, and so I can put some stuff in the horizon and rearranging some stuff, so it's maybe fits better to the camera move. For example, you maybe remember I placed the billboards here because now I know I come very near to this place. Yeah, and that's all. It's no special magic behind. It's very easy stuff. And like you can see, it's not very complex. Just low polygon. Everything is just a few polygons, and so the scene it's lightweight to handle. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I have watched to the blog, maybe some people asked things I forgot. Moment. Okay, motion blur is just added real smart motion blur and compositing later. Film polygon. Okay, some guy asking about the buildings in the last shot. City, urban, the city? Yes, it's city. So it's very simple again. And this is City. Big city, that's the thing. So switch off this because we didn't need it right now. Yeah, don't know what that is. Oh, the cam, target. Switch it off. Da. This too. Okay. So, oh, switch the sound off. So this is all we have. Yeah? It's just very simple setup from MoGraph cloner object and just 2 buildings. You can watch it. Woo. So just 2 buildings, very simple buildings. Switch this off so we can have a closer look on it. Yeah, it's very simple, and like you see, I again do this dirty trick. So that's a building. Oh, a bit strange. Moment. Where is the building? Front of my cam. Okay. That's right. So very simple building, again from an older project. You see it's just basic low polygon modeling, but a nice texture for the windows, and in my case it's the right thing. Yeah. Oops. That's all. And the whole city consists of 2 buildings, and at the end again to become this a bit grungy look, I just adding some planes, doing this alpha textured stuff in front of it. That's all. No special trick. So is there something left? I don't know. Let's see. Hi, me again. Sorry, I noticed that I forget something. Compositing. Okay, but it's not much. No fear. You see, I have much of the right look direct from Cinema 4D, so I just adjusting a few things in compositing. I did no passes or something, nothing, just plain 3D out. I ran it in 16-bit to have a bit more space to adjust, for example, that's all I did. Saturation, yeah, I adjust brightness, yeah, and then I just put magic bullet look plug in to give him a bit more interesting look, and at the end a little tiny bit real smart motion blur. That's all. That's the whole compositing on this job. Yeah. Okay, and this is the version for the stage. Yeah. And the guys told me there the LEDs on the stage is a very high contrast thing, so I made the original film a bit bleach, and yeah, just for the version you see on Vimeo, I give the whole movie a bit more contrast, and at the end I adding some lens flares, because yeah, it feels maybe a bit better and not so clean. Yeah, and that's all. Here you can see that's my editing, and that's the compositing. It's not much, but I think you have to know it. Yeah, it's interesting because of course normally I do some bigger and complex commercials, and there's some complex stuff to do, and this movie is a special case because it's very easy, but of course it's very fun too. Yeah. And now back to myself. Bye bye. No, I think it's all. I hope I didn't forget anything. And it's a hard project. It's very, very easy to do. Very fun for me because I very like this style. Trying out something, and when it looks nice, it's a style. Yeah. Um, it's very interesting in terms of short projects where you didn't have some preparation time for complex ideas. I like this, and that's all. Yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's very easy. You see now, it's just Cinema 4D and a few little dirty tricks and maybe a few interesting ideas combined together, and that's all. Yeah. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a bit. Please feel free to ask me more questions. I have no problem to record a second part and answering some additional questions or something. Big thanks to the very nice guys from Feed Me, Susan for the creative direction partnership. It's very cool, and of course to Laura Giersdorf. Yeah, this was a producer on this job, and very nice person too. And yes, I hope we see us on the next Mosai TV show. Yeah, because yeah, all my order stuff is in German. It's maybe a bit hard to understand for you, and I'm not sure if I will do everything in the future in English because I feel not so familiar with it, and it's very more easy to explain some interesting details for me in German, of course. But hope you like it and hope it's a bit interesting. We finish now. Yeah, great. Thank you for watching. This is Mostyle TV. Kai Tennemann ist der Name. And yeah, bye bye.